you want to do me a favor? Can you say, welcome to the Waiver Watch podcast one more time? Because I was talking over you when you said it the first time.
Welcome to the Waiver Watch podcast with your host, Megan and Johnny.
Oh, yeah, we didn't introduce ourselves, did we? We should call.
Who are these people?
These people indeed.
What gives them the rights? Welcome to the Waiver Watch podcast, the only podcast in the world solely dedicated to HCBS waiver services in the state of Minnesota. I think. I can't confirm that.
I think so. That was the goal anyway.
Cool. Well, I'm going to take that unconfirmed claim and run with it. We're back for our third episode, and this is our sick episode.
Yeah, we both have a cold.
Yeah, so my voice was already annoying enough, and now it's sniffly and stuffed up. So hopefully that doesn't turn you away from all the exciting news we have today. But thank you for joining us again. We have a fun episode here. This will be released kind of on the eve of the 2026 legislative session. We're recording this on the 12th, so the week right before. And there's a lot that could change in the next 4 days. But I think one thing we should get out of the way is just some reminders before we jump into the primary topic of today. What's coming down the ARRM events pike?
A lot of exciting stuff. So one more plug for Women's Conference. Registration for that closes on the 23rd. We're super excited about it. I was putting together all of the graphic design deliverables this week, and it's going to be so fun. We're really, really pumped. And then just a reminder too for our members, the week this is going up, we have a Q&A with DHS. So that's a really awesome member benefit that we have here at ARRM, is that every month we get a bunch of panelists from DHS all on a Zoom call, and members can submit questions ahead of time and on the call. So if you have questions for those panelists, you can send them to questions@arrm.org, and then information about the call itself is available on our website for members.
Awesome. And then, of course, the other big event on the horizon is our annual Day at the Capitol, Disability Services Day. That'll be on Tuesday, March 24th. The official start time for the Day at the Capitol is 10 a.m. That's when our rally begins. It goes from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And then the rest of the day is for people to take on legislator meetings, and those will be held across the Capitol complex, but primarily in the Minnesota Senate building and in the Centennial building, kind of down the street from the Capitol itself. But there's some updates we should probably talk about with Day at the Capitol. First and foremost is updated security. So this is the first year at the Minnesota State Capitol where security measures have really been upped. And that's a good thing because, you know, we've all experienced what has gone down in Minnesota the last year, and it's a fair response to keep members of the legislature and their staff safe, and of course everyone else who comes to the Capitol. But with that comes some other considerations about commuting to the Capitol and just the timing of getting from the front door to the rotunda. So before, it was a pretty straightforward process. There's a handicap accessible door on the first level of the Capitol, and down there are 4 elevators that go right up to where the rotunda is. And those elevators already got a little clogged up because 4 is not enough for the sheer amount of people that come today at the Capitol. But now the extra consideration is metal detectors and those conveyor belts for bags to screen bags and anything coming into the Capitol for weapons. So, of course, that'll take extra time. So what that means for all attendees is plan ahead. We can't do a whole lot to change anything about security measures. And of course, a lot of folks will have metal in their bodies. They will have aids in walking or wheelchairs. All of those things will probably either get flagged or make it a little slower getting through security. And we just want to be cognizant of that. So during Day of the Capitol, definitely fit in an extra 10 to 15 minutes to commute to the building and actually get through security and up into the rotunda. I'll also mention, like last year, there's a lot of construction going on. Construction means less parking because things are taken up by construction equipment. Some of the lots are closed. So just keep that in mind as well. Parking will be the same as it was last year, which is a little lessened from previous years. There is a light rail station right nearby on the Green Line, but take that into consideration as you come. The rally begins at 10, but folks should really plan to get there a little earlier, thinking of security and parking. But Day at the Capitol, you don't have to sign up for anything to attend the rally. Just make sure you're considering commuting and all that. The rally is totally free to enter. You don't need to sign up. However, if you want to attend a meeting with a legislator after the fact, get a little FaceTime with your state reps, you do need to sign up for legislator meetings. And that can be done on our website. It is also on our weekly emails. If you have a group larger than about 20 people, email me for the group sign up sheet because it'll make it a little easier than getting that group sign up form to 20 different people. Just email me for that at Tvedt, Tvedt, at arrm.org, ARRM.org. So if you have a big group, hit me up. Otherwise, we hope to see your meeting requests come in pretty soon here. Anything else on Day of the Capitol?
We have fanny packs. We'll plug that one more time.
We do have fanny packs.
We're excited about it. So swag, an amazing community of people. We're getting the speakers lined up. Legislator meetings, like what?
Yeah.
What's not to want, right?
And the entry part is like, it sounds annoying and frustrating, but then like you get through that 5-minute metal detector security going up the elevator period. And then it's a really fun event. It's really inspiring. It's great to be there every year. I always feel lucky just being able to be a part of it. So don't let that deter you from showing up, making your voices heard, or even just having a quick meeting with your legislator to talk about some of the things on your mind and how we can best support waiver services in 2026 and beyond.
Yeah. And from what we've seen of the pictures, it sounds like it's going to be fairly similar to like a concert or something at like the Target Center, for example.
It's exactly like a concert at the Target Center. Anyway, should we get on to today's topic?
Yeah.
And that is our Advocacy Center page. We want to talk about the Advocacy Center page because I feel like we are always directing people there. Like if you want to do this or you want to do that, check out the Advocacy Center page on the ARRM website. But it can be intimidating. There's a lot going on there. It is well organized. Megan has done a great job of cleaning it up, making sure everything is clear and easily accessible, but there's still a lot of info on there. So we're going to take a little bit of time to just run through it. And if you are listening to this and you're near your laptop or your phone and want to kind of go through it with us, we recommend and encourage that. Otherwise, just some information for the next time you visit.
What's the URL, Johnny? You got it up in front of you.
Yeah, so it is arrm.org, ARRM.org/advocacy.
Super easy. Or you can go to the homepage and it's at the top in the little menu bar up there. Click on Advocacy.
And you'll know you're there when you see the Get Involved banner at the top. And right below that, there's just like a series of boxes that will direct you to other pages for resources or action alerts, things of that nature. But I'm just going to run through these real quick. The very first one is always going to be our Action Center. So the very top left box is where all of our action alerts live. Anytime ARRM says, hey, there's a new action alert live, take 5 minutes, reach out to your legislator, send an email. That's where that'll be. So it's really easy. You just click on that box and the only thing on that next page is the action alert.
And we have an action alert live right now.
We do have an action alert live right now. So if you haven't done that, for greater flexibility and an annual cap for IHST, something that we are supporting this legislative session.
Yeah, we talked about it last episode.
We did talk about it last episode, but maybe they didn't listen. they should listen.
They should.
The very next box is how to engage your legislators. And if you click on that one, there's just a host of resources that we've come up with over the years. People are always asking, we go to Day at the Capitol or we host legislators in our own home, then what? Like, how do we talk to them? And there's a video here that's we've done in the past. It's just a recording of a previous session talking about the best way to engage legislators, how to talk to them. It should answer a lot of those questions, and I direct people there all the time, and it has gotten pretty good feedback. So if you're ever worried about how those meetings are going to go, you're unsure about speaking to a legislator for a first time, they're just people, and all the rest of the info is on that video. So check it out.
Yeah, if you want more Johnny content.
If you want more of this. The next page is a legislator communication reporting form. That's just a long way of saying, how did that talk with your legislator go? Anytime you speak to a legislator, have them over at your sites or your organizations, or you're meeting with them at the Capitol, we do have a form to tell ARRM how it went. What did you guys talk about? What was their position on all of the different bills you brought up or the issues you presented to them? And was there any follow-up action? Is there anything you want us to do after the fact so that we're making sure those lines of communication stay strong? Community connections is something we started at the end of 2025. And it's members asking us to help set up meetings with their legislators. And we've had a few of those since its onset in December. It's your way of letting us know that you want your state legislator to come and visit your home, your CRS, your ICF, what have you. We help facilitate those meetings and getting them started up. I will attend those meetings as often as I can, assuming the member wants that. And of course, bring any other resources or one-pagers that you think will be brought up. If you haven't done a community connection in the past, highly recommend it going forward, because Day at the Capitol doesn't have to be the only time you talk to your legislator. We want to keep talking to them year round, making sure those relationships stay strong. Continuing on to resources.
Our legislative agenda is on there now. So the document that we were looking at in last week's podcast is up on the website. That'll be up there all session. I'll eventually replace it with Sarah's legislative summary, where we talk about what a great session we had in 2026. So that's up there.
Yeah, and right next to that is the grassroots toolkits. So this is a gigantic document that I came up with over the last couple of years. I'm working on the grassroots program with ARRM, and what's in that document is the list of resources and references. If people have questions about engaging their legislator or getting involved in the process, it's kind of a summary of my 2 years of working here and what can be learned from it. And a lot of times I will just direct people to that page. And so far, it hasn't needed to be updated, but we will look to update it after every session. And it's just a great resource if you're looking to get involved a little more, or if it's your first time, like if you've never done an action alerts, you've never done Day at the Capitol, start with the grassroots toolkit, kind of get an idea of what you're jumping into. And then we have our one-pagers.
One-pagers, exciting. So one goal that we had ahead of the 2026 session was to have one-pagers ready to go before session even started around some of the issues that are a little more technical, a little bit trickier to explain, have those ready to go so we don't have to scramble later in the session to try and get that together. So taking what we learned last year, what were some of the things that were a little tricky to talk about and have that ready to go? So one of them is around IHST, which we talked about last week. So we have a whole one-pager just on that. So if you were wanting those talking points, that's up there. The other ones, we have two kind of around the same topic that are up there now around absence and utilization and a 351-day cap. So we'll talk a little bit about that. That's more of a defensive move that we're just preparing for. There's nothing, as far as we know, officially proposed around capping absence and utilization, but it was brought up last year. It's something that we just wanted to be super prepared for, because we know that the budget's going to continue to be a topic of conversation. Proposals to reduce funding to disability services are going to be a continued topic of conversation. So this was just something we wanted to have ready.
If these proposals are officially brought forward and there's more information on what they look like in 2026, we'll talk about that more. But like Megan said, this is something where if you need some technical help on some of these more wonky policy topics, that's why we have these one-pagers, is to assist people in making sure, like we said, legislator eyes aren't just glazing over and they get an understanding of what's going on. because it can be hard to describe some of these things. They can get super in the weeds. And we tell people they don't need to be policy experts when they're advocating, and that's still true. But having some of these more technical resources can kind of get you over the hump when describing things that are otherwise pretty challenging.
10 points to Johnny for correct usage of the word wonky,
Thank
by
you.
the way.
I appreciate that. That was my word of the day, so I have to fit it in somewhere. Did you watch the Super Bowl?
No, I watched the halftime show the following morning.
Okay, I did too. So I was sick during the Super Bowl, but I did watch the first half from bed. And what I saw was a defensive game. And the team with the best defense ended up winning the Super Bowl. Do you see where I'm connecting the dots here? Okay. So defense wins championships, and a lot of times it's not like the most exciting thing to say, hey, we stopped this bad or proposal that we think is harmful to our members. It's not exciting because it's not like we're pushing the ball forward. We're mostly just keeping it where it's at. But in the end, it is something that helps us be successful in future years, and make sure that we can keep kind of pushing the ball forward in future years. And it'll be something that we'll need to do again this year, just because the budget is going to be tight. There's going to be proposals looking at further cuts, and those are the things we're really focused on this year, I'd say, beyond the IHST and the other policy topics. So all of that is found on the Advocacy Center page. If you want to get involved with any of that, you want a greater understanding of what's going on this session, I highly recommend just go through it once. Just click through every box one time, glance over what's on those pages, watch the videos, and you will be in a good spot to participate in 2026 and beyond. So that is my call to action for all of our listeners. But if you need any help with that too, just reach out to us. If you have further questions, we always make ourselves available to engage a little more on those things.
Absolutely.
I think that's all we have today. That little run through is one of the main things we wanted to highlight leading up to session. By next episode, we will be in session. So that's exciting. Going forward, we'll be talking about a lot of the things that pop up in committee hearings, the best way to engage with those hearings, how to watch them, what's going on with them. All of the updates will be coming through the podcast and, of course, the blog. So thank you for watching kind of the preseason, as I would call it. And we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for tuning in to the Waiver Watch podcast produced by ARRM. Be sure to follow us wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, as well as our other social media. Be sure to tune in next week, and we will see you soon.